And tonight, October 11th of 2016, it's the Timeout Show live from the Broad Street Tavern with the hottest volleyball team in the county. They are 25-5-1. They are 9-0, a perfect 9-0 in the SCAA conference. Will they run the table in the SCAA? Do they have state championship aspirations this year at North Adams? The dean is in the house, Darren Kittle. Hello, Mr. Kittle. He's over there enjoying dinner right now. And the current coach of this red-hot volleyball team, Kelsey Cortright, joins us tonight. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
You got to be doing good when you're 25-5-1 and 9-0 in the SCAA. This is an exciting start for your team, isn't it?
Very exciting. This season has been incredible so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Let's talk about the summer and the preparation. Anytime I'm at North Adams, we did a lot of baseball stuff there over the summer with the kids. Anytime I'm there, the gym is filled with kids playing volleyball. You don't go 25-5-1 accidentally. It takes a lot of time over the summer, doesn't it?
Always, yes. Every year, the girls do a great job of starting early. We always start in June, and they are always in the gym. I don't think there were many practices where I was missing anyone, actually. The seniors were great leaders this season, and they have really got the younger girls in there and work very well together.
And I think that becomes a positive peer pressure. If you know that the other people on the team are going to be at the gym and working out, you feel compelled to do that too. And if you don't, you might lose your spot.
Correct. And this year we don't have a lot of girls, so it's really been a year of girls stepping up, and we've had a few seniors that have had unexpected injuries that other girls had to step up and be leaders themselves.
We've talked about this every year I've had you on the show. I think this is the third time I've had you in, but the fact that Darren is still around, such a resource for you. Darren won some volleyball games at North Adams for many years, and I know that he's still an asset for you. And you look at the community and the expectation at North Adams. I've never understood how this happens in these schools where you have North Adams, which has struggled a little bit in some of the other sports if you look up and down the line. And here's this volleyball program that is incredibly consistent and competitive every single year. And you got to scratch your head and say, what is it about the culture at North Adams-Jerome that allows this team to continue to be so competitive year in and year out? And you're a carryover. Obviously, you played for Coach Kittle. But there's something about the culture up there that demands excellence in this volleyball program, isn't there?
Yes, very much so, and I respect Darren so much. He's taught me so much about the game, and I guess it's just something that comes from your heart, and he just started something that the girls have such a passion for, and it teaches you so much not only about sports but about life and how to overcome things and work hard for something that you truly love.
Now, I know when you started, you confided in me that you didn't want to mess up and you were filling in his shoes and all this sort of. This is your team now. I mean, you've been here for a few years now. This is Kelsey Cortright's team, and 25-5-1, 9-0 in the SCAA. That's something to really be proud of. How did you get there? You talked about the summertime. Talk about the composition of your roster this year that has allowed you to be so successful early on in the year.
And honestly, it's just repetitive things. The girls are there every day at the gym and come in ready to work every day, and it's just something that I demand, and I feel like they just carry it. So it's something that comes from them.
Let's talk about the kids. Who are some of the, obviously everybody's important on your team and we don't want to single anybody out, but who stepped up when you look at the team so far as somebody that you knew was really going to have to stand up and be accountable as the season got started? Who has met those expectations or maybe even exceeded them?
There's so many girls that I could talk about. First of all, Emily Miller just went above and beyond for this team. She's been working out with me in the summer by herself. She would meet me at the gym on Saturdays, Sundays, whenever. Holly Trujillo also. Both of those girls just really, they worked for what they have been given this year and what the team has achieved. Taylor Evans has stepped up as a leader. She tore her ACL this year and has been trying to play without it right now. So it's kind of a challenge for her, but she is leading the team on and off the court. She's had to learn more off the court. I also want to mention Samantha Brown does an awesome job as a setter. She really leads the team, and she can just utilize our offense and knows where to go and when to do that. And Macy in the back row. What? Yeah, Macy Nunez in the back row. She just leads our team. I mean, you never know where she's at, but she's always in the right spot, and the ball always goes to the right place. So.
Now, the old MO of your team, I'm around a lot of Camden Frontier folks, and we talk volleyball a little bit, and although I'm no expert, I'm learning the game slowly. Part of the reputation of North Adams is that the ball just doesn't hit the floor. Like, you swarm, the dig capability is there. Maybe you haven't always had that howitzer of a thumper on the edge that some of the other teams do, but the scrappy team concept has worked for you. Is that close to accurate for this year, or is it a little bit different in terms of the way that you're winning games?
I would say it's very accurate. I think Macy Nunez in the back row, having her there that is just a consistent player, it leads the other girls to pick up that, and they learn from her, and our defense is definitely very scrappy. I mean, they do not let a ball hit unless they're flying across the floor, which is awesome as a coach to see.
So 25-5-1, you've won 25 times this year. I always ask the coaches this, and sometimes they feel like it puts them on the spot. So you girls, please jump in on this. Is there one win so far that stands out that was a game that you were really excited to challenge, and you felt like your team really stepped up and played up to its potential?
I would have to say the Pittsburgh game. The girls were very psyched up for that game. They were ranked 5th in the state, and we were ranked 7th, and I think that kind of burned them a little bit, and they got very excited for that game, and they worked so hard to play well that game, and we did. They overcame and beat Pittsburgh, and I think that was kind of a turning point for our team. They knew they could overcome things.
Yeah, I think that's got to give you a lot of confidence. Maddie Clark's one of the best volleyball players in the state of Michigan. Obviously, she has college plans in front of her, and she can really play. That's an excellent team. And you beat them and felt good in doing so. So that's got to be on the plus side. You have 5 losses, Coach. When I was coaching football, the losses usually stayed in my mind more than the wins did. Is there one that you let get away where you thought maybe you had a chance and the team didn't quite meet your expectations or the standard that you've set throughout the year?
Yes, actually the last tournament we played in this weekend, we were playing a big Class B school from out of Detroit, and we were ahead in the 3rd game, goes to 15. We were ahead 13-9 and ended up losing the game 20-18. So that was the game that we kind of let down at the end. But the other 4 losses all came from great schools and from our first tournament. So we've been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I should say so. 9-0 in the SCAA. The natural next question, and again, you're not going to give me anything that will be controversial. I know you well enough, Kelsey. But there are people around your program who think that this could finally be the year that an SCAA team knocks off Battle Creek St. Phillips, which is truly, this is not hyperbole, they are truly one of the finest volleyball programs in the state of Michigan. The consistency at the state championship level has been there year in and year out. I know you're not going to say this, but there are those around the program who think this could be the year where you've got your best chance to finally knock off Battle Creek St. Phillips. Is that something you think about? Do you approach every game the same, or is BC St. Phil even kind of circled on the calendar a little bit?
You could say it's circled,
okay,
yes.
Is that fair?
It's something we put importance on, and I think something the girls fight for every year. So, yes, it's something we look forward to this year and this week.
And when is it happening?
This Thursday.
They're here.
It is there.
So at Battle Creek St. Phillips, the matchup that everybody's been waiting for, BC St. Phil versus North Adams on Thursday night, 6 o'clock. Get your popcorn at 5:30 and get yourself a seat up there at BC St. Phil. It's going to be a battle, and it should be a lot of fun. Do you watch film? Do you scout? Do you have any sort of intel on their squad? What do you do to prepare for a big game like that?
During the season, not so much. I mean, usually you know kind of what they have from the years previous, and they did graduate one of their big hitters that I believe is playing Division I volleyball. I mean, they always have a great defense. This year, I'm not really sure. You know, we'll just go into it knowing we have to work hard for every point.
Is there a confidence deficit with your team when you play them? I know when I was coaching, if we would play Pittsford, for instance, in football, we had lost to them for so many consecutive years that it was almost becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. We just expected to lose to them. How do you break that cycle, and can your girls go into that match Thursday with some confidence, even though it's been a struggle in the past?
And I think that's very true. In years past, we've had a mental block against certain teams, and I know when I played, you know, some years we had a mental block against Lenawee Christian. For some reason, this team is able to overcome that, and they go into every game knowing that they can win and they'll fight no matter what. So it's a good thing to see.
Kelsey Cortright is the head coach of the North Adams-Jerome volleyball team. They are 25-5-1, 9-0 in the SCAA. When we come back, we're going to speak with a few of their players who are here tonight to talk about this incredible start to the season and their goals going forward. You're listening to the Timeout Show live from the Broad Street Tavern on a Taco Tuesday on WCSR.
Hi, I'm Dan Dickerson, and you're listening to Timeout with Andy Brown on WCSR.
And when we come back, Emily Miller, you work out with Kelsey over the offseason. She is a maniacal workout person. It's almost scary what she does. How do you hang with her? Is it difficult to work out with Kelsey Cortright?
It is extremely difficult. I just know that if I don't finish my workout, I won't go home. So that's what gets me through it.
Pain. I follow her on social media. I see some of the stuff she does. I just shake my head and then grab another cookie or something like that. Emily, how important is physical fitness in athletics for you, especially in volleyball, where maybe you don't have the running component to it all the time, but you still have to have the lateral movement and the ability to jump and work. How much is physical fitness a key for your game?
I think it's extremely important for everybody because in able to move and get to the ball quickly like we need to, then that's where it really comes into play. Like, you need it or you're just not going to be as good as we are.
Do you have to run and lift and all that sort of stuff at practice, or is that mostly happening during the off season?
We did it a lot in the off season, and now that we're like in the season, we run usually before always before practice for like a half an hour, and then and then we'll work out sometimes after practice, just not so much lately.
I think it makes a difference when you're coach. I mean, I played football for a guy that was like, I'm not going to be mean on the radio, but he wasn't in super great shape, and didn't really stay on top of that. And then he wanted us to be in great shape all the time. To have your coach sort of model that and be on top of her physical fitness and liking to work out with you, and even being in better shape than her players, that's got to be kind of motivational, right?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like everyone always tries to beat Kelsey. It doesn't usually happen, but we try our best. And I think that helps us a lot. Like, it really drives us to get better.
Holly, you raised your hand and said that you beat Coach at something. What did you beat her in? Please be specific.
Sprinting across the football field.
So is that was a width of the length or the width?
The width.
Come in closer so I can get you on the microphone here. You outran Kelsey as far as a sprint across the width of the football field. Did you trash talk her? Was there any intimidation factor after that was over?
Yes. I like to prove that I actually did in fact beat her at one thing.
Did anybody film it? Is there any record of that actually happened? Did you guys witness it?
Yeah.
So it really did happen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Kelsey will even acknowledge that it happened. Holly, she shrugged her shoulders, and she's not sure she wants to acknowledge that. Holly, what's your role on the team this year? I'm going to hand you the microphone. What's your job on the team night in and night out for the Rams to be successful? What do you feel like you have to bring to the table in the games for the team to be successful?
I didn't hear what you said.
She didn't catch my question. What do you feel like you have to do during the games for your team to be successful? What do you feel like your role is on the team?
To be a leader and to be intense during the game and to keep everybody motivated and up when they're getting down.
And how do you do that?
Trying to be loud and trying to, help improve. I don't know.
Well, I think to be successful in sports, you have to have a short memory and to be able to what I say, flush it when something bad happens, right? When you start to get into a rut, sometimes might be when you dwell on a bad point or you dwell on something bad that happened. Are you able to have that kind of resiliency on your team to not dwell on a bad thing that happens?
Yeah, I believe we do. When we get down, we always try and group up and have them try and keep their spirits up and tell them you got the next ball.
Taylor, we're sitting here at a table with 3 seniors, 3 leaders on the team. For your class to have this success, it's finally your turn to be the senior class. For your group to have this kind of success, what has that meant to you personally and as a group?
Well, I mean, being on varsity for 4 years and it's finally my senior year, it's great to be able to have my senior year put a number up on the banner. Something like that is definitely, we all look forward to it.
Some players aren't real comfortable talking about this, but I'll ask it nonetheless. Most teams at the beginning of the season set goals for the year. Can you share with the listeners and your fans what one of your goals was going into the season, maybe personally or as a team? What did you think this team was capable of accomplishing when the season started out?
Well, I mean, we have always had big dreams. We want to go as far as we can get. And one of my personal goals, I wanted to be a dependable hitter on the team. And since my injury, it's kind of been hard to get out there. But I try to be a leader off the court and motivate my teammates as much as possible.
So you suffered an injury. How? Tell us what happened, and what is your prognosis going forward?
Well, we had a powder puff football game during our homecoming week, and we did win, but I tore my ACL in the process, and it has been a struggle ever since, something I've had to work with. I decided to get a brace and try and play through the season. I've been going to physical therapy, and I was finally able to make it back out on the court last week, and I played this weekend, and it just feels so good to be back.
So you are back out there, torn ACL and all, and you feel like you're able to contribute right now?
Yeah, I am definitely not where I was at before, but I'm working really hard.
That's a great story. You know, a lot of coaches won't allow their players to do the powder puff football for just that reason. I've always kind of disagreed with that. I mean, you're a high school kid one time. You get those experiences one time in your life, and, you know, usually there won't be any issue with an injury. Here's one that happened. Do you feel like it was the right thing to let them play, or do you regret it now?
Well, I mean, looking at what happened, I have had some regret, but I know that that was one of my favorite parts about high school, and so I didn't want to take that from them.
I think that's a good answer. I mean, as a coach, I would rather in season my players focus on my sport and not do some of that other stuff. But even when I was coaching football, a lot of the kids would do basketball on the weekend. Anything can happen. You know, honestly, you can't really control injuries. Sometimes it's inevitable, and it's disappointing. And the fact that she's already back out there, pretty impressive, right?
It is very impressive. I mean, she has worked so hard since her freshman year to become what she is today, and it was kind of devastating to hear that news, you know, her senior year, that, you know, we thought it had all ended, and when she got the okay to play from her doctor and play through it, we knew things wouldn't be the same for her, but just to be out on the court and take part in her senior year is a great thing.
You know, as I look around the Broad Street Tavern tonight, there are a lot of supporters, fans of your team who are here, who really kind of live and die with probably every point that you guys play. And if you don't go to volleyball, listeners of the Time Out Show, a volleyball game is actually a really intense sport to watch. You might not think so, but if you get into a match that has 2 competitive teams, it's really an exciting sport to watch, and you start to get emotionally involved and invested. It can be very stressful, can't it?
Very. I mean, I get made fun of daily for the for the motions that I make on the side of the court. You know, I'm always like kicking my leg up or making the movements of a volleyball player on the sidelines. So you can say it gets pretty intense when it's a good game.
I'll let you go with this one. Obviously, your team has the Battle Creek St. Phil game on Thursday. You'll finish out the SCAA year, get into the tournament. Is this the best team that you've coached? Do you think the ceiling is the highest for this particular group? How far could you see this group aspiring to get as the year goes along?
Honestly, I mean, it's hard to measure that way. I think this group has come together mentally and physically as a team better than any team I've ever coached. I mean, usually with girls, you just have different drama, things that come into it, and this team, I haven't had any issues. And
I could see, to interrupt you, I could see you putting a stop to some of that stuff very quickly.
Yes, that's happened also.
But you like your squad. Obviously, you don't have to pin a round that you'll make it to, but the point is that somebody will have to knock out the North Adams Rams once that state tournament comes along, and I have a feeling that that could be very difficult to do.
That's what we hope for, yeah.
Kelsey Cortright, Emily Miller, Taylor Evans, Holly Trujillo, they are 25-5-1. And by the way, these tournaments that they're playing, they're not playing inferior competition. You purposefully schedule tournaments that will push your kids, don't you?
That's correct. We usually play bigger B, C schools, such as the Bronson tournament, where we played teams that have won state in the last couple of years. So it lets me see the weaknesses of our team. So when we play teams in our league or teams that are equal to us, we usually come out with a win.
They're 25-5-1. They are 9-0 in the SCAA. It's a pivotal matchup Thursday with Battle Creek St. Phillips, a team that has dominated Class D for a long, long time. Can't wait to hear about the results of that one. I want to thank you for middle of the season, taking the time to talk to us tonight. I can't thank you enough, and best of luck to all of you the rest of the way. North Adams-Jerome Volleyball in the house tonight. We appreciate Coach and all of the players for being here, and we wish them the best Thursday in the big matchup against Battle Creek St. Phil. Bobby, I know you've got some business to take care of. We'll have more coming up on the Time Out Show live on a Taco Tuesday from the Broad Street Tavern right after this.